Hey everybody, it's Coach Pete back again as promised. 1 week later, maybe a week and a day later, but I'm back again. So lots of stuff to go over in today's vlog. More truths, more stories, more good stuff, more fun stuff. So let's get right into it. First thing I want to talk about is two incredible milestones for the National School of Baseball and Softball. 2 days ago was our 5-year anniversary of being in business and giving lessons. Yesterday, we taught our 500th baseball student in 5 years. That's a lot. And add to that, we're approaching about 100 softball students, so that's almost 600 students total in 5 years. That doesn't include the 60 some odd teams that we've worked with, which I don't write them down as individual students. They just go as on a list of teams. So all in all, well over the 1,000 mark of students taught in 5 years. So thank you all very much for your faith and belief in me, in the school, and what we teach. Those that have come through and passed on, and not passed on, but moved on, and those that are with us, continue to be with us, greatly appreciate it. Tip of the cap to you all. So thank you so much, and we move forward, and maybe we'll get to 1,000 baseball students soon. Let's just looking at my notes here. So something that's coming up, I've been working on this for a month. The Venom player evaluations for 2020. Finally, it looks like the weather is going to cooperate this Sunday. They will be held at Anne Arena Sports Complex in Bolingbrook from 3 to 5 p.m. For those that are not familiar with this, the young ages of 8 to 12U are summer travel, part-time travel teams as a supplement to whatever you're playing in the spring. And it's just a great way to get off-season training, get a little bit of taste of travel, combined, and build camaraderie and have a lot of fun. 2019 was awesome. We are trying to put together older teams too, 13 and 14U, for those of you that are going to stay or looking to stay in-house in Pony League and want to try to do something different. We're looking to do 13 and 14U full-time travel. If that doesn't work, we'll stick with part-time travel. So, there's been questions. There's a lot of changes. The landscape is changing with travel baseball, with in-house baseball. So why Venom? There are lots of these part-time teams popping up all over the place. My answer to that is simply that Venom is an extension of the National School of Baseball and Softball. We teach the game the way we teach our lessons. The off-season training, which you do not get, by the way, with most in-house programs. You get a little bit sometimes here or there for Sunday league teams and this and that. But ours is very extensive in defense. There's pitching, there's hitting, there's catch positions, there's classroom sessions, there's all kinds of stuff. And things that most, I'm going to say most, not all coaches won't go over, like situational play. What does each position do on every play whenever the ball is hit? Another big thing is the fun that we have, the way we teach. Anybody that has taken lessons with me knows that we always find something to have fun and to laugh at and to learn. We compete in practice. We have fun. We have competitions. We build team camaraderie. We not only create better ball players, we create better human beings. We emphasize sportsmanship, and we lead by example. We teach respect the game, respect your teammates, your coaches, opponents, umpires, everything. It's a huge thing for us. And if there's one thing that we became known for during the summer of 2000, so to me, that's why we are a little bit different. It's a direct reflection of our school. And as I told you, the numbers are so huge, and with successes like scholarships, and I've never had a student not make a high school team. I've never had a student not make a travel team. So we're coming from success in teaching this game and teaching the skills and intelligence and mental toughness, things of that sort. This is going to lead me into a segue of a story I wrote this up on one of my promos. And it's worth repeating because it's a perfect example of what you will not get from Venom that a lot of teams get today. I had a conversation with a student's mom, and she asked me, she was telling me about the fall ball team. And she said, I don't understand. They practice 2 to 3 times a week. They have scrimmages, they have games, and they never get any better. It's so frustrating. No one's having fun. We haven't won a game. They can't make outs. They can't throw. They can't catch, and just went on and on. So I just kind of listened for a while and asked some questions. I didn't want to be mean about it, or I understood where she was coming from. And all I could say is that it simply comes down to this, that let me preface this with this statement. I give credit to anybody, man or mom or dad or father, who volunteers their time to try and coach baseball or any sport. It's a big commitment. I get it. I understand it. I've been there. And it's not as easy as it seems. However, when you take on that commitment, you do take on the responsibility of trying to improve players' skills and make them better ball players. And if you don't have the ability to do that, you either need to seek it out to learn, bring somebody in that can help you, or you're probably better off not being a head coach. There's not enough pure teaching skill out there. And I said to her, I don't know what's going on, but it doesn't seem like anything is being taught, emphasizing things that they're not doing well. And her response was, they can't even play catch. Well, if you can't play catch, you can't make an out. So anybody that's ever been a part of practice with me and any teams that I've ever coached, especially Venom, one of the first things that we do is we call around the horn. And I say over and over and over and over again, if you cannot play catch, you cannot make an out. So we have just throwing and catching drills. It just starts with that simple of a foundation, that if you can't throw and you can't play catch, you can't make outs. And so she was saying something to the effect, well, there's a 5-run limit, and it's like they rely on the 5-run limit to get out of the inning, and the only time they don't is if they get a little lucky or someone strikes out. I get it. I understand. Again, it comes down to 2 things to me. It comes down to teaching ability, and it comes down to knowledge. A lot of times now, just a lack of knowledge of the game, a lack of knowledge of what to teach and how to teach it. So that's how you get into these situations where you get these teams that practice and practice and practice. They play scrimmages, they play games, and nothing changes. And like I said, it's tough to be a volunteer coach. I get it, but it's frustrating to players. It's frustrating to parents when their kids are not getting any better. So it pulls me back to Venom. That is the most important thing to us, is player development, physical, mental, intelligence, everything you can imagine. That's what the National School of Baseball is. That's what Venom is all about. So when you say, well, why Venom? There you have it. You don't get that. What we get is feedback from parents of how much the kids learn and how much better they get. And I don't look at a scoreboard for success. I just look at the improvement of the players, how much smarter they've become. They know what to do with the ball when it's hit to them, things like that. And one more comment about this is that when you practice just for the sake of practicing, basically all you are doing is repeating bad habits. Bad habits are broken when you implement good habits and you repeat those good habits over and over and over again. So this belief of the more we practice, the better we're going to get is not necessarily true. It is only true when you are learning. It is only true when you are getting good reps, whether it's in the mechanics of fielding a ground ball, the mechanics of fielding a fly ball, whether it's going over game situations and situational play. This is when you get better in practice. To just stand there and hit ground balls and hope the kids make a play and to go throw batting practice nothing is being learned. And there's a lot of that going on. So again, and ending with venom, we don't do that. We teach the game the way it should be taught. So now, from negative, positive kind of thing, it's story time. This one's kind of ugly. Again, I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. I was at a game, and it's older kids, 13 years old or so, and pitcher came in, and within the first few pitches, I could see immediately his arm was hurting. His shoulder was hurting, I think it was his shoulder, and he was not throwing well. He walked a couple of kids, and he was wincing and holding his arm. So his coach started screaming at him from the sidelines about his mechanics, about you need to do this, you need to do that. Well, the kid was in pain. That's what the mechanics were that he was trying to show him were awful to begin with, but that's beside the point. The kid was in pain. So the coach basically said, do this, do that. He's yelling at him, get the ball over the plate, blah, blah, blah. Well, he walked another batter or two. And the coach came out. And I thought, well, thank God he's going to take this kid out and, get him some relief. So he proceeds to start to demonstrate proper pitching mechanics. They weren't. I'm sorry. They were awful. And tell the kid just to do what I'm telling you and you'll be fine. Well, I heard the kid say, but my arm hurts. And the coach walked away. And the kid yelled again, my arm hurts. And the coach just waved him off and said, try a few more batters. This is abuse. Plain and simple. And I have seen it far too many times. All of you know me. Pitching is a big thing with me. And arm safety is everything. I don't care if the first inning or not. First of all, he should have known going into the game that his pitcher's arm was hurting. And if he did know it was hurting and he made this kid pitch, that's beyond abuse. So the coach finally came out after another walk or two and took him out. And the kid was so frustrated that before the coach got to him, he just tossed the ball to him and walked off. This is horrendous. What is going on here? What's the purpose? What was he trying to accomplish? Was he trying to accomplish winning a fall ball game at the expense of possibly a kid's arm and his future? It absolutely blows my mind. When you have a pitcher on the mound and his arm is hurting, take him out or her out immediately. You don't wait. It's done. Finished. End of story. You protect the player. You protect the arm at all costs. So, again, this is another example of stuff that goes on that needs to stop. And I don't know if the parents were there. I have no idea. But if it was me and it was my son, I would have been on the field taking him out. I mean, you just can't allow this to happen. You could easily ruin a kid's arm for the rest of his career. And I've seen it. So, again, just because this has to stop. This is the bad stuff that's going on for what? To maybe win a game. And it was the first inning. The first inning. Seriously. Should have never been pitching. So, everyone, keep an eye on this. Coaches, if your pitcher's arm is hurting, stop. Pull him out. Pull her out. Parents, if you see that your young player is hurting, your son, your daughter's hurting, get them out of there. Be that parent. You need to protect them. That's part of the job and responsibility of a coach and of a parent. You do not want to ruin their career before it even gets started. It's not worth it. All right, so some fun stuff. I don't know how many of you watched last night the Brewers-Nationals wildcard game. I caught the end of it, and this is typical of me of how I watch the game and what's going on. So for those of you that did see it, you know what happened. That Milwaukee blew a lead, a 2-run lead in the bottom of the 8th inning. When in the inning, Milwaukee brought in Hader, which is their top left-handed relief guy, throws 98 to 100 miles an hour. He threw a fastball or two, and then he tried to throw a slider, and the pitch went way up outside and high. Didn't have it. threw another fastball, threw another slider, way outside and high. And I'm watching his mechanics, and I said to my sons, he's going to blow this lead because of his mechanics. So anybody that's ever taken lessons with me, listen, because when I tell you this, this is why. He's lefty. So when he was lifting his knee up, he was completely turning his body, and his knee was facing center field. So that movement to come around, that hip rotation is too far and too long, and it left his arm lagging behind, so he couldn't get control of his slider coming down. So the hitters just basically sat on the fastball, and he blew the lead. I mean, it didn't help that his right fielder made an error, but it's just something that's just the way I watch games. I watch pitchers really close, and it just comes down to the fact that something that I teach my pitchers: don't turn your back and don't get that knee facing center field. So anyway, I predict stuff like that. It just happens. Let's see what else. You know what? I'm going to end it there. It's been long enough. It's about 16, 17 minutes. Follow me on YouTube. Click like, make some comments, bring up subjects that you would like me to talk about. I'm wide open for any subject that you want to talk about. We are eventually, again, going to try to do some live stuff while I'm giving lessons. That'll be coming up. I do have some announcements that'll be coming up in the next week or so, involving the National School of Baseball and possible changes and whatnot. But other than that, again, if you're interested in Venom, even if you haven't contacted me, come down to the Anne Arena Sports Complex on Sunday between 3 and 5. Give it a shot. Come talk to us. You never know. If you are coming, bring more. We want more. We want more people to be involved. We want more kids to be involved. We want this positive experience to keep spreading and spreading and spreading. So that's it for now. Watch the playoffs. A's got knocked out. The A's are my favorite American League team because I have family out there, and my cousin would be very angry with me if I'm not an A's fan, and they're out of it. So I don't know who I'm going to root for, to be honest with you. But that's it. Enjoy, play hard, have fun. Call me for lessons. Come to Venom. We'd love to have you. That's it. Coach Pete out. I will catch you all next week.